you mentioned Holliday, and looking at the way things are going to shake out, Couture, are we looking at is it going to be either Jason Bay here or Holliday here, or is there a plan C?
I think that there's a plan C only because next winter is the year where Theo Epstein can really remake his team. He's got a lot of money coming off the books. Lowell, Ortiz, Beckett, all of these guys are going to be coming off, and it's going to be really time for that next generation of whichever direction this team goes. And it's a pretty weak class, and Holliday is probably going to get a huge offer just based on the scarcity on the market. So what Theo can do is wait a year, not necessarily have this be a rebuilding / stopgap year, but find a guy for a year, probably on the cheap, probably a veteran guy, because there's going to be a lot of guys out there. Johnny Damon is the one that everybody brings up, but apparently the Yankees are at least interested in bringing him back, and kind of wait a year before you tie all this money up. Give it figure out where you stand, figure out where Jed Lowry fits in at shortstop, figure out who can fill in at third, figure out if Buckles is still going to be here, if you're going to trade him away for a big bat. Take your time and then decide, this is where I want to make my huge investment. The Teixeira thing last year, as I've said before, was huge because he was the guy you wanted to build around into that next decade. And when they didn't get him, it was almost like everyone has talked about, it's like Theo sat on his hands. Well, he didn't sit on his hands. He said, all right, there's nothing out there that I want and that I want to commit all this money to because we don't have an infinite bank account. So let's wait, see what we have, see where we're weak, and we've probably got a team that's good enough to make the playoffs, which they did. They didn't do anything when they got there. Right. But it's a building process. It's a long-term thing. And if it's not right this year, then it waits another year.
That's what I like about how Theo approaches it, is that he doesn't approach it as, okay, we have to get this guy, and then when we get this guy, we'll do he probably has plans A through Z, and because if we can only get this left fielder, then we can get this shortstop, and if we can get this shortstop, we can get this backup catcher, and specifically, would Jermaine Dye make any sense as a guy you could get maybe 1 year, $5 million, play him in right, maybe move Drew to left? Is that a possibility? It's
a possibility. I don't think they want to shuffle positions very much. I think they would rather.
But could Dye play left, you think?
I think he could, especially at Fenway Park.
If Manny could play left, he's about the worst defensive outfielder you could have, right?
There is concern in the team, overbuilding itself toward Fenway. I know that's more of an offensive thing because they did struggle to hit on the road, but you want more of a balanced team than you necessarily had this year. They had a lot of their power guys offensively were guys that could hit home runs at Fenway Park and could hit doubles off the monster, but weren't so strong. That wouldn't be a problem with Dye.
He's a good player, but it just seems like they don't. It seems like I would be completely shocked if Jason Bay was here next year.
I wouldn't say completely shocked. You never know what's going to happen. Last year for the market to die the way it did, everyone expected there to be more veteran guys available, and Bay's not really in that class, but you never know what teams are going to offer. There's a lot of stupid GMs out there who could look at him and say, oh, he's not the right fit, or, we can't afford him, so we're not going to make an offer at him.
But is it stupid to say, isn't it just, he is a risk to a certain extent. Isn't he 32?
Well, they're all risks.
Look at what the Blue Jays did. They probably thought they were being smart by locking up Vernon Wells and Alex Rios for 10 years and $732 trillion. And
I think the key here is that Tim's talking about wanting things now, I think a bit facetiously, but this is going to wait, not necessarily with Bay, but the whole picture is going to take a long time to develop, because if you think about it, last year when they added Baldelli and Smoltz and Penn, those were all late in the winter signings.